Trump's little secret, and he's going to try to pull it off right in front of us. Now, I don't know if he's going to let the government shut down, but if he does, I know he's not going to lose a wink of sleep over it, because the Bureau of Labor Statistics just released a 73-page report on what they'll do if the government shuts down. And in that 73-page report was the news that they will not release a September jobs report on Friday if the government is shut down. Also won't release weekly unemployment claims. And in the middle of October, if the government's still shut down, they won't release inflation data either. And on top of that, they're going to stop collecting data from employers the whole time, which would virtually guarantee October's report is corrupted and incomplete, not unlike every sentence out of Trump's mouth. And the timing really couldn't be better, because a major job market researcher just announced that seasonal hiring is the lowest it's been since 2009, which, if you recall, was a catastrophic recession. And of course, everyone knows the job market is trash because of Donald Trump's tariffs and the nonstop chaos in the economy, when all employers want is stability. But Trump wants to hide from it, because if you don't count it, it isn't real. Just like back in 2020, when a whole ship full of passengers who were sick desperately needed a dock so that the passengers could find a hospital. But Trump didn't want them to dock here, not because he was worried about getting doctors sick, but because he didn't want to count 14 cases. Because really, when it comes down to it, that is all we are to people like Trump. Numbers. If we're good, he claims them, and if they're bad, he either hides from it or blames us for it. Unfortunately for Trump, because we live in the real world, not in mansions with golden ballrooms, we don't need the BLS to tell us it's terrible.
The U.S. government is now officially shut down, partially. Congressional leaders and President Donald Trump failed to reach a deal or pass a short-term funding bill that would have kept the government running. A shutdown could lead to the furlough and firing of a large number of federal workers. There are some deemed essential that will still work unpaid, such as active duty U.S. military service members, law enforcement agents, air traffic controllers, TSA officers, Border Patrol and immigration enforcement agents, and customs officers. Some economic analysts estimate a shutdown could cost the economy about $7 billion a week. Congressional reporter Tarian Small is on Capitol Hill. Tarian, what's the immediate impact of federal workers and service members?
Quite a few of those service members and employees will see an impact when it comes to their wallets. That's because during this shutdown, they won't be able to get paid. They're foregoing that paycheck, and for many of them, they're still forced to work. Others will be furloughed, like you mentioned. This is happening concurrently with guidance from the Office of Personnel Management saying that Trump's plan, President Trump's administration's plan to undergo what they're calling a reduction in force, so mass firing to these agencies, will move forward. How that works is a bit tricky during a government shutdown, but ultimately, if fired during this period, that's a 60-day clock or timer that starts before that firing goes forward and is made permanent. Those who are fired will still be paid, receive back pay. But again, it's the finality of this that could really impact quite a few employees working for the government.
If there are any Democratic politicians in Washington watching this video, and I sure hope that there are, listen very carefully. I'm going to tell you exactly what you say in this government shutdown battle. It is really not difficult. Here is what you say. You say what Republicans want to do is greatly damaging to the American people. A lot of people are going to be hurt by it. Therefore, we will not give one single vote to what Republicans want to do. And we don't have any power anyway. Republicans control everything. They control both houses of Congress and the presidency. We cannot stop them. They are going to do whatever they want to do. But we are not going along. We will not give them one vote. They own everything that happens. This is entirely on them. Americans are going to be hurt by this. You need to know who is responsible. It's Republicans. We will not help them harm the American people. So in the future, when you lose your health care, when you can't get a job, when inflation is through the roof, when you can't afford the bare necessities in life, just remember, Republicans did this to you. They are in control. Blame them, but we're not helping them. That's it. That's all you say. And you say it over and over again. You all get on the exact same page. Get your little talking points down. Take what I said and cut it up into smaller sound bites if you need to, but you all need to be saying the exact same thing. You're not helping. You're not giving one vote. This is all Republicans. You can't stop them. If the government shuts down, it's Republicans' fault. They have all the votes necessary to keep the government open.
I'm somebody who has lived without health care. I'm somebody who has had to make the decision of whether I'm going to go to the doctor or not. And we don't want that for people in America. Hey everybody, Congresswoman Summer Lee here, and I just wanted to check in. We're here in DC and we're waiting for word of when we are going to be able to vote to avert this shutdown, a government shutdown. We are just hours away from it, and Republicans haven't even bothered to come in. But we're here because it's that important for us. We're here because we want the government to stay open, but we also know that we have to fight for healthcare. We're fighting to make sure that folks don't wake up in a couple months and find that they can't afford their healthcare, right? As somebody who doesn't just represent a working class district and working class people, I've lived it. I'm somebody who has lived without healthcare. I'm somebody who has had to make the decision of whether I'm going to go to the doctor or not. And we don't want that for people in America. And that's why it's so important that we take the stand. But also it's important that we take the stand because we know that Republicans, if you give them an inch, they will take a mile. We know that if we bend the knee right now on these basic things, these basic values that we show through our budgets, these basic values that we came to Congress to fight for on behalf of our people, if we don't take the stand right now, then we know that this government that is rapidly descending into authoritarianism will continue to take advantage of people. So we are here to fight back against that. And we await the opportunity to vote for a budget that both keeps our government open, keeps our federal workers protected and safe, but also keeps every American who relies on healthcare through the ACA, keeps them protected, make sure that they're able to still go to the doctors, maybe make sure that they're not having to make, the critical decisions between getting healthcare or paying their rent. We're here to fight. Not for, not just for a bureaucracy. We're here to fight for people. And that's why you all sent us here.
Breaking news, guys. President Donald J. Trump threatens that if there is a shutdown, that he will make it irreversible federal firings. Now, I'm not too privy on who would be fired, but anytime the government gets a little kick in the booty, it's a good day for the U.S. people. And that's one thing you can't say about this man. He has done a stick it to the man, if you know what I'm saying. And how many times in our life have we heard the government shutting down? I don't know what that entails when it shuts down, because I'm sure it shuts down for a few days, but what does it actually do to us? So if someone can leave me a comment explaining what a government shutdown actually does, I'd appreciate it.
What this government shutdown is all about is whether Republicans are going to be able to get away with raising health insurance premiums by 75%. Yes, 75% on average for 20 million Americans. And in addition to that, throwing 15 million people off the health care they have by making devastating cuts to Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act. And you know what that means? That means, not according to Bernie Sanders, but according to people who have studied the issue, academics, tens of thousands of Americans are going to die unnecessarily. Well, you know what? I am not going to support that. And that is why the Republicans have got to sit down, they've got to negotiate, and they've got to protect the health care needs of the American people.
Most Americans haven't even heard why Democrats want to shut the government down. When negotiations began, Democrats came to the table with a $1.5 trillion spending package. Yes, that sounds massive, but here's the kicker. It included hundreds of billions of dollars for illegal aliens' health care. Think about that. While hardworking American families are being crushed by rising premiums and medical bills, Chuck Schumer and House Democrats thought the priority should be free health care for people who broke our laws to come to this country. That's their opening demand. Republicans, led by President Trump, immediately said no. And of course, the House passed a clean resolution to keep the government open without handing taxpayer dollars to illegals. No games, just funding to keep essential services running. Democrats' response? Unless you give us $1.5 trillion, we'll shut down the government. That's not even a compromise. It's extortion. And here's the bigger question. Whose side are they really on? Because when the choice is between American citizens who are struggling and illegal immigrants who broke the law, Democrats are siding with the illegals every single time. President Trump and Republicans are siding with you, the taxpayer, the citizen, the parent trying to afford health care for your kids. This fight isn't about keeping government open. Republicans already voted to do that. It's about stopping Democrats from robbing American families to bankroll their radical agenda.
Sup, I know we're all talking about Bad Bunny, rightfully so, because to quote J-Lo, mi gente latina, but we have to talk about something else that's happening. I feel like a lot of Americans aren't actually attuned to the fact that we are headed for a government shutdown. You're like, oh my gosh, doesn't the government threaten to shut down and run out of funds all the time? Yeah. It does. Feels like Groundhog Day, and it's kind of easy to ignore it, but here's what's happening. Donald Jr. Cheeseburger and the Republicans are refusing to negotiate with the Democrats. As you know, the Republicans have control of Washington. Boo. Well, that means that they're responsible for keeping the government open. It's like when the worst person you know has the aux and is controlling the vibes. So that's one. Two, so they could walk back these cuts to Medicaid and SNAP, or they can double down when they redo this budget. And right now, Speaker Johnson, monotone guy whose face doesn't move, fierce guardian of the Epstein files, probably his grinder handle. He canceled votes on Monday and Tuesday because he refused to negotiate, which means that House Republicans are going to be home when the government shutdown begins. Oh, what's that? Oh, I was just waiting for the outrage from the people who said they were cutting waste, fraud, and abuse to come to the front. Because nothing says making America great again than raising costs for working families. Like, how do I know all this information? Well, because when you talk a lot of crap on the internet artfully, you get invited to some meetings and some email lists. So I'm getting some information confirming that the Democrats are working to keep the government open, while Republicans, while they might be taking time off work, are putting in their effort to take away America's healthcare, driving us to a government shutdown. Here's a visual of like what's been happening the last 9 months. This isn't by accident. Pause to read. Continue to pause to read, vibes. And dude, I'm a comedian. I wish I could just be silly goose. I care about this because healthcare is already expensive. And no matter where you are in the country, this matters. If these cuts go through, healthcare costs are going to go for everyone. It's giving tax cuts for billionaires and higher costs for working people. Anyway, I'll keep you updated.
We have major news right now. We're now less than 11 hours away from a government shutdown. And folks, everything points to a government shutdown tonight at midnight on October 1st. The government will shut down. And what that mean for you? Well, Trump is saying he will conduct mass firings of federal employees, literally eliminating tens of thousands of federal jobs, furloughing tens of thousands of others. Some will lose their jobs and they won't get it back. Others will lose their jobs for a period of time and will work without, and some will even have to work without pay. National parks may start to close. There may be interruptions in trying to get entitlement benefits, especially if the government shutdown lasts for a long period of time. It may be longer wait times at airports as air traffic control and TSA, while they're essential, not as many will be working. Get ready. I mean, it's going to be a very prolonged potential shutdown right now, starting tonight. So spread the word. More to come soon. Follow along, stay updated on all the news you need to know about. I will have much more to come very soon.
Trump just told America's top military leaders that the U.S. military should be used to police American cities. He said in a speech to these military leaders, the ones that are run by the radical left Democrats. What they've done to San Francisco, Chicago, New York, Los Angeles. They're very unsafe places. And we're going to straighten them out one by one. And this is going to be a major part for some of the people in this room. That's a war too. It's a war from within. Along with this, Trump told Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth that they should be using these dangerous cities as training grounds for the military and National Guard. He added that Chicago is first on his list, and he mocked their governor as incompetent. There's another concerning thing that I wanted to touch on from this meeting, and I'm just going to play the clip.
Thing you want, and if you don't like what I'm saying, you can leave the room. Of course, there goes your rank, there goes your future. But you just feel nice and loose, okay? Because we're all on the same team.
You could argue that I took that clip out of context, but if you go back and watch the entire speech as I did, you will see that more context actually makes this issue worse. He then pushed this even further by saying if soldiers are spit on by protesters, the rule should be they spit, we hit. He then added that if military or police vehicles are hit with bricks, they should, quote, do whatever the hell you want. And all of this is happening on the same day there's a possible government shutdown. Congress hasn't yet agreed on a funding deal. Democrats are pushing to block Medicaid cuts and protect healthcare tax credits, and Republicans are refusing to give ground. With this, J.D. Vance said after a White House meeting, I think we're heading to a government shutdown because Democrats won't do the right thing. What happens next will not only test the chain of command, but the balance between constitutional limits and presidential power.
All right, I'm here in D.C. We just finished a press conference with all the House Democrats. We are here in Washington, D.C. at the Capitol right now, ready to work to keep the government open. But guess where the Republicans are? The Republicans in Congress are not in Congress. They're on vacation right now. We're literally the only ones here. And it just goes to show that they have number one, put us in a healthcare crisis. They want to go into a shutdown so that way they can take away healthcare from more people. We're here to say we want to keep the government open. We're not going to vote for a bill that's going to rip away healthcare from people. Get over here and let's work to make sure that this doesn't happen. But they're nowhere to be found. They're on vacation. And you can visually see the fact that all the Democrats are here, but none of the Republicans are here. So call your representative and tell them to get to work.
What time do the revolution start? Because I'm ready. The government shut down every year. It is time to get all them niggas out of office because they not represent nobody. I'm tired of hearing this message every single year. The government's going to shut down. The government's going to shut down. At this point, y'all don't have a plan. It gets to a point. It gets to a point.
So sources have confirmed that with the looming pressure of the governmental shutdown and whatever the else is going on, Pete Hegseth is losing his damn mind. Apparently, there's something about to jump off, and Pete Hegseth is losing his mind in the White House right now. And everyone is pretty much up in the air right now. Everyone. We've got Pete Hegseth, who recently pulled in a bunch of the top generals into a random meeting that seemed outside of the norm of how they typically do meetings. You know what I'm saying? It was like a top secret meeting. It was very last minute. It was added in on their calendars, on their Microsoft calendars at the last minute. It was you better get your ass in here now. You know what I mean? And then we have reports that are coming down the pipeline about both America and Israel trying to pull a sneak attack on Iran. Iranian airspace all day today has been on high alert, which I assume that even in the nighttime, it will be on even more high alert because we know that Israel and America love to sneak attack people at night. So I'm interested to see how things will change as the impending governmental shutdown is supposed to be happening. Now, we don't know exactly how long the governmental shutdown is supposed to be happening for, but we do know that it is supposed to be happening in the impending 12 hours. Now, in the past, they've been able to avoid a governmental shutdown by coming up with a plan and all voting while we were asleep in the middle of the night. So I assume that that'll more than likely be the case in the middle of the night. And there will also be some aggression that will uptick moving forward in the middle of the night, either overseas or somewhere here on American soil. But what we do know is that it's getting crazy. It's getting worse. Shit is everywhere all at once. And they are all fighting each other right now. Over on X, they're blaming the Mormons for what's happening. I don't know what the hell the Mormons have to do with their church being rammed into by MAGA, by right-wing MAGA. But I mean, hey, I'm just here to listen and hear everybody out. I'm just here to hear everybody out. I'm a fly on the wall. I'm minding everybody else's business. Okay, that's my business. I gotta mind everybody else's business. And I'm the person that comes back on the horse that goes, the British are coming, the British are coming. So just speak a little louder so I can hear y'all on Twitter. If you can hear me on X, speak a little louder because I'm trying to make sure that the girl allies know what's going on. In other news, I mean, just what's going on globally, nationally as well. But America quite literally is losing their shit right now. I mean, they said that they came up with a comprehensive 20-point plan in which they are supposed to be garnishing peace in the Middle East. And they've been the only thing that is not peaceful in the Middle East. Them and Israel. They're the only two things that are not bringing peace to the Middle East. Now, of course, this plan does not include Mohammed, the current acting chief and president of the Palestinian or the previous PLC or the previous Palestinian organization. However, they do state that they have a certified board of directors that will be garnishing the peace and leading Gaza into peace. I think that this is going to fall apart very quickly. Very quickly, this is going to fall apart. I feel this will very quickly fall apart, but that's just me. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are, because as we approach this governmental shutdown, we know for a fact that a lot of governmental workers will not be paid, essentially. And there's a good possibility that they may come up with a deal sometime in the middle of the night, but we don't know. We don't know. And while all that's taking place, they're still trying to implement these new algorithms while simultaneously accusing everyone left and right of being a terrorist for simply questioning what our government is doing overseas and just being against the government bombing Venezuela, Palestine, Iran, and several other places, like threatening to bomb China, threatening to bomb Taiwan, threatening to bomb Philippines, and so many other places. We're quite literally running on a hamster wheel chasing our own tail. That's what it feels like. We're running nowhere fast. I just want to give y'all an update. There quite literally is no update. We're running nowhere fast. That's the update.
Today is September 30th. It is Tuesday. It is 1:22 p.m. and we are approximately less than 9 hours away from facing a possible government shutdown, a possible federal government shutdown here in America. Now, if you're not up to date with everything that's going on, just go to my page real quick. Just head over there. Go see that video that I posted yesterday. It's going to give you the breakdown on everything that's going on, why they beefing, why they arguing. But the last place that I had left you off at was that Trump was headed over to Congress to see if he could have a meeting with the Democrats, in which he called helping them find common sense and seeing if a resolution could be made. It failed. It failed. They didn't come to a resolution. So now we're all back at square one as far as just waiting, anticipating, trying to see how everything is going to play out. And while we do that, while we wait for the next 8 hours to see what's going to happen for tomorrow, right? I feel like if the Democrats don't get what they want, shut this whole shit down. But if that does happen, I just feel the need to remind everybody once again, as American citizens, your power is in your consumerism. It's you being the consumer, not just a consumer, but the consumer that is needed in making or helping this American economy run smoothly. You understand? So I figured that I showed y'all the stocks right now. I show y'all the stocks so y'all could see. That right there is Disney, baby. Apple, Boeing Company. Even more, Nike. They all in here. Do you see that? There's only 2 stocks right now that's doing relatively good. Everybody else is hurt. They're fucking hurt. They're hurt. So if you need a reminder again and where your power lies, just refer to this. Refer to this. Now, I show you all that because if in fact we are facing a federal government shutdown, I want to make sure that we're all on one accord on what the fuck is going to happen next. We are going to be protesting by holding our fucking dollars. And I saw in the last video, everybody was talking about we can all, as a form of protest, file exempt. You understand? It's these federal taxes that we are paying so much for that they keep rising, they keep hiking. You understand? While still giving us inflation. You feel me? Inflation on our ass. They're fighting over our money while cutting funds for government aided programs that's supposed to help you and I. So let's just cut that shit in the bud. Let's cut it in the bud. You don't want to, y'all, even this shit, they're fighting over our money. Y'all could keep what the fuck you already have. I don't want to give them no more. So what are we doing?
All right. I just hope this shutdown does not happen, really. Listening to all this video, how people's sweat is going to, waste, I really feel for them. How people are going to lose their job, okay? I thought people are going to protest in the streets concerning this protest. But looking at it, it seems as if nothing is happening, okay? I want to know if you are really in support of the shutdown that is going to take place in US. Listening to the video, you understand that a lot of people are going to lose their job. A lot of people are going to lose so many opportunities they've worked for in the past, okay? I also want to encourage you, know that I am in prayers with you all. Still your girl Maureen Chinomso, okay? Really, a lot of people are going to lose their job, something they've worked for so many years. I really feel for them, okay? I just pray the shutdown will be of good and not of bad, okay? If you're coming across my video for the very first time, please do well to subscribe and don't forget to like this video.